Hello everyone. Dear viewers, I would like to welcome you all to today's masterclass on Night and Game. Myself, Baivab Mishra, international chess coach, providing training here at Premier Chess Academy. I would like to welcome all the viewers for the masterclass. So let's start. As we all know, today's topic is masterclass on Knight and Game, and knights are the most interesting piece on the chessboard. So basically, to understand a Knight and Game, we need to understand knight. So I'd like to start with some instructive positions which are very critical in Knight and Game. For the first game or the first position that I want to show to all my dear viewers is a game between Emanuel Lasker and Aaron Nimzowitsch. And as we all know, Aaron Nimzowitsch has written two chess books which are very famous, Chess Praxis and My System. Both are very famous book followed by almost every world champion, almost every chess world champion has followed those books. And Emanuel Lasker, as we know, is the second world champion and one of the world champions who have reigned it for a longer period of time, like for 18 years. So basically, this knight endgame is based on the theme of a king and pawn endgame. So as we all know, Mikhail Botvinnik once said that knight endgames are basically like king and pawn endgames. And if you are playing a knight endgame, the one who has a winning king and pawn endgame will have a winning knight endgame. As we look into this position and we try to analyze this position, we could see that both sides are having 3 pawns. You could see white here have 3 pawns and black also has 3 pawns. And each side is having a knight. And white king is on e3 and black king is on e5, well centralized. But the bigger difference in this position is that found out the right sequence. He did not hurry up for the position. He did not play h4. Rather, he went for the move king to f6, which is a very subtle move, very nice move, trying to misplace the knight on g5, trying to make sure that the knight does not stand on this good square, and also freeing up this e5 square, as you see, which would be used by the black knight over g6. So here white went the very natural move, that is knight h7 check. King goes back. Knight comes out to g5 again. Black went king f6, which is very obvious that black is just trying to repeat for a few moves. As in endgame, we see that we have always got less time. So time is also an important factor in chess. And basically, when we play a game, middle game positions are complex and we usually think for a lot of time. So for all the viewers, all the kids, those who are watching, it's a very important point I would like to add that you can repeat moves, not 3 times, because if you repeat for 3 times, it would be a draw. We should actually repeat for 2 moves and then try to change the position. In that way, we can gain some extra time and also we can try to put some psychological pressure on our opponent. So knight h7 check. And now, as usual, black did not go for the draw because black knows that he is actually having an advantage because he has a rook pawn. That is the pawn on h5. So black went for the move, king to e7. And by doing this, now black has some chances of pushing the pawn and this knight is misplayed on h7. So white went knight to g5. Now black comes in with the knight e5 move, trying to centralize. And also, there's a very obvious threat. I would like all the viewers to pause a bit and see what's the threat. Because you need to also understand that black is not only making random moves. He's trying to make progress with his position by giving threats on each and every move, which we need to consider. So for all the viewers who found out knight c4, excellent. Black is actually trying to do a family fork, attacking the king and both pawns, which is going to be very fatal for white. So white went king d4, trying to save from knight c4 check. Black activates the king. So in every endgame, not only in knight endgame, to all the viewers, in every endgame, as we could see, the king are important piece and king should be centralized in the endgame. King can be used as a piece because in endgame with very less pieces, as we all know, it's very difficult to checkmate. So we can use our king as an extra piece and that will add a lot of value to our position. So here white went knight h3, which is a pretty obvious move, trying to block the pass pawn and trying to make sure that white can try to create some counterplay on the other side of the board. Excellent move by black. And there is a name of this concept. So those who know the name of the concept is really good. Those who don't know, this concept is known as deep freeze. Why it's called deep freeze? Because one single black pawn is now able to stop 2 white pawns. So this is a very important endgame technique, and basically it's more useful in king and pawn endgame and in knight endgames, because in king and pawn endgames and in knight endgames, we actually need to put the other side in zugzwang. So for all the viewers, those who don't know what is a zugzwang, zugzwang means it is a position where whichever side is having the move is going to have a disadvantage. So here, black is trying to fix the white pawns on a3 and b2 and make sure that he has some reserve tempis or waiting moves with b6 and b5. As you could see in the game, when I move forward, this was very helpful for black. So knight f4, pawn to h4, trying to push the pawn. Knight comes to h3, white tries to block, and here black uses a very simple principle, that is using his reserve tempis in a beautiful way. I'd like all the viewers to please critically think here, because black has made significant progress in the position. Black has centralized the king, centralized his knight, pushed the white knight to the bad place on h3 to the corner of the board, and also fixed the white pawns over here on a3 and b2. But now it's critical to find out a winning plan or a winning motive. So I'd like all the viewers, all the kids to think, because these are the kind of positions where you should take your time, you should think and figure out the solution. And the solution is a very interesting one. And there was a lot of analysis in this position done by a lot of good players. So even this position is famously considered in all kind of chess endgame books. Dostoevsky endgame manual, you could see this position in improve your endgame play. So to all the viewers, just take your time, think for some moment and try to find out how would black continue here in this position. Yes, I see a comment, d6 by Alisa Reynolds, and I think that's the best move in the position. Superb. Those have found out b6. There are some other moves also coming up, but yeah, b6 here is the best move and not b5. The reason being, if we go b5 immediately, white will place his knight on f4, and we need that same position to come with white to play. So now in this position, it would be our turn, and we want this position with white to move. So now knight c6 check, king to c3, and after king e5, white could go knight g6 check, and this would lose the h4 pawn, and with that, all the hopes of winning the game would go away. So that is why black went for the move b6, and all claps to Priyanka Arya and then Alisa Reynolds to find out the move b6. Excellent endgame technique, b6, because the reason is that after knight f4, now black is going to play b5. And now it's not black's turn, it's white's turn, and this concept is what we call zugzwang. Putting the other side to move, and whenever they make the move, they will have the disadvantage. So now knight to h3, white falls back, and now black continues the exact idea that we just saw in the previous slide. Knight c6 check, king to e3, king comes out to c5, and black tries to create some counterplay on the queen side. Forces the white king to come, and as we could see here, if black gets the b2 pawn, there will be two rook pawns, and it will be almost impossible for the knight to stop this pawn. So white did not want that to happen, and for that reason, white tried to get his king backward, but now the white king is not in the game, and black just used his position. And as you could see, all the viewers, this is an important technique in knight endgame. We could see it here, that this knight is now dominating the other knight. We have to understand this little small things, little subtle things, and these are the things that separates the masters from the amateurs. And if we work on these things, one day everyone or all the amateurs are playing chess, they will also move on the master level. So this is the secret from moving from the amateur level to the master level. Observation is the key. If we are having patience, if we are trusting the process, if we are working hard towards our goal, and also with that observing the thing carefully, then we can be very good chess players. Because everyone can play good chess. There is no secret that we are all born with the same talent, I would say. There is nothing as talent. It's all about working hard in a proper way. And these are the things that everyone should note down, try to learn from this, and try to apply it in their own games. So now king a2, and black starts the plan. Knight is stuck, as I have already mentioned. This knight dominates the other knight. So black gives up the a4 pawn, but tries to march his king toward the other part of the board with an easy win. King c4, king a3, king to d4, king captures pawn a4, king e4. White starts pushing his pawn, trying to create some counterplay, but white is too late because like the knight can easily stop the pawn from da, while white will find it hard. King f3, b5, and after king g2, this knight is trapped. This knight cannot come out. And to all the viewers, those who think that b6 is winning, it's not winning because black can simply capture, and after b7, I would like all the viewers to pause again and find the final move for black. Let's go. It's an easy move to all the viewers. Find out the winning move here for black. Any guess? It's a pretty easy guess to figure out. And I'm damn sure everyone would be able to find this move from the black end. White pawn is getting promoted over here. So black somehow needs to stop it. And there is only one way to stop this promotion. And with that, black will, on the next plan, will be able to promote his own pawn. Absolutely brilliant. So I get some real good answers from Satyajit Patra, Nitya S, Dhaval Patelos, everyone has figured out the right move, and the move is knight to c5. Brilliant. Knight fort is what we all play for. And that is why knights are the most fascinating piece. So because they could fort, they could attack two pieces at the same time in a very easy way because they move in L shape. And they can like jump over other pieces. So knight c5, king moves, and with this last capture, black would be winning the game. So hope this game was instructive to all the viewers. And why I showed this game to all the viewers, because there is a point to know that in knight endgames, the rook pawn or the outside pass pawns are very useful. Based on this exact game and theme, I am moving on to the next chapter, moving on to the next position, where I'll give a small study or a small puzzle to all my viewers to solve. And we all know that rook pawns is the enemy of knight. So the next chapter is based on the theme, rook pawn is the enemy of the knight. And this is the position. And here we have to figure out a way for white to win. White is a rook pawn, but to mention, white king is far away from this pawn. So white king is not supporting the pawn, but still, even if black have a knight and a king to stop this pawn, and even if black is blockading this pawn over here, still black will find it hard to stop that white pawn. So all the viewers, do take your time and please try to find out a winning combination here for white. This gives us a clear example of how rook pawn can be dangerous in knight endgames. And every time we try to play, we should try to have rook pawns whenever we are entering a knight endgame. Okay, I'm getting some lot of answers. So I'm getting some answer from Uma, knight g7. Okay. Shilakshmi, I'm knight g4. Okay, Rehan is saying knight g7. Shani, knight g7. Okay, a lot of answers with knight to g7. Okay, a lot of answers. Everyone, almost everyone is going with the move knight to g7. Really great. So if you're going knight to g7, that's awesome. That's the correct move. Because by doing so, we stop this knight from blockading the pawn, which the black knight is doing wonderfully here. So just 1 minute. Yeah, sorry for the interruption, guys. Yeah, so knight to g7. And after black takes on knight g7, white can now push. And we could see that this pawn is now can't be stopped. And king comes in, trying to stop it. But again, at 7, and you could see that neither the knight, neither the king, nor able to stop this pawn from getting promoted. So very similar to the last position, as we saw, rook pawn is the enemy of knight. Even in the last example, Botvinnik also said the same principles. That is the reason why whenever you're analyzing or studying a knight endgame, we should try to find out the similarities it can have the king and pawn endgame and so on. But there are some rare cases where a knight is able to stop the rook pawn. And those cases are known as barrier or some kind of fortress that the knight can do. So that's exactly the next chapter that we're going to look at. So moving on to the next position over here. So in the next position, we could see that here black has a king on d3 and white has a knight on f5. And there is a pawn on h3. So to all the viewers, I'd like to ask them to have a pause over here and try to see how can white stop this pawn on h2, because white king is far away. So white only has a knight, hope of the knight to stop it. So this knight can do stop that pawn, but he has to find the right moves. So to all the viewers, pause yourself, fasten your seat belts, and try to go and find out white's best move. Okay, so for all the viewers, those who have figured out the move knight to g3, they have figured out the best moves here. So knight comes to g3. And the trick is that in this position, the black king won't be able to come in the game. Now black will obviously push h2, but now white can start moving his king. And here, if black tries to go king to d4, then we can get the king. And the pattern goes on king e5, king c5, king comes in, but here we can move the knight back, block it over here, king f3, king d4, king to g2, king to e3, and when black captures a knight, white goes to the knight. So I'll just try to go back a little bit to show some interesting lines. This is the main line that I just showed. Easy line, there's nothing there to analyze here. But yeah, some trick should be known that after h2, king b7, here we would see that the black king cannot come in a faster way. These squares are guarded. See, this e4 square and e2 square are actually guarded by the knight. So king cannot come to the squares. And this e3 square is actually a mined square. It's indirectly guarded. How? Because whenever the king tries to land on here, white has a nice trick. Can anyone find out the trick here for white? White to play and again find the tricky move. To all the viewers, you can pause yourself and try to figure out the best move here for white. Okay, excellent. Those who have figured out the move knight to f1. Brilliant idea. And by going here, double attack, and we'll be able to get the pawn on h2. So there are some tricks even here. Again, if it comes here, again, the same idea. Okay, everyone is flooding the answer with knight f1. Superb. Everyone is going with knight f1. Very nice, very nice. Knight f1, and then we take the pawn. So very interesting position here that the king cannot come to d2 because of the fork. Over here, it cannot come to e3 because of the same fork on f1. And these two squares are anyways guarded by the knight, forming a barrier. So this concept is very useful in knight endgames because knight can move in all directions. It can move in L shape, and there's a wide range of options. For that reason, whenever we are playing in knight endgames, we need to be very careful about the knight fork. To all the kids, those who are starting chess, even for all the experienced players, whenever you're handling a knight, please try to be careful. Try to give that extra 5 seconds of thought before. Because if we do that, we can avoid the force and we can gain some easy wins. Okay. Now, after we have learned about the rook pawn, the concept of barrier, there are some other things that the knight cannot do. And that makes a knight one of the most fascinating pieces from my point of view. I think this is one of the most unique qualities that we should learn about a knight. It's a disadvantage and it's some sort of advantage also. So The next position is a very rare and very interesting one. I think this position is given in the book called Knight Endgames by Edmund Mednis, a very famous Knight Endgame book. So to all the viewers who want any kind of reference or who want to learn Knight Endgames specifically, that book is the best one. To all the viewers, the book name, again I'm saying it out, it's Knight Endgames by Edmund Mednis. So it's a very famous book. I think it's a red color covered book, and this is the first position of that book. First starting position of that book is this, and this position helps us to know a lot of things about the Knight Endgame. I think many of you must be knowing this position because it's that famous. So here white is actually having a pawn which is getting promoted in one step, but the problem for white is that he cannot get the king out, and the reason is black king is stopping him, stalemating him actually. But white has an extra knight on h1. The question now is it possible in this position for white to move and win? I'd like all the viewers to pause, give it a think. So I'm giving you around 2 minutes think now. Now it's very critical that you should give a think. So to all the viewers, do give it a think and try to figure out white to play. White has a knight, 3 points up, knight, extra pawn, 7th rank. Is it possible for white to win? Okay, many of the answers are yes. Okay, Asser D'Souza says no. Okay, I got an answer from Alligator saying yes. Ishani says win. Okay, Shrikar says no, we cannot win. Okay, Umay saying sacrifice a knight. Lot of answers are coming up. Okay. Okay, someone has also suggested the moves. Okay, that's even great. Okay, lot of answers. Okay, so to all the viewers, those who have said no, actually that right answer here, because now see white goes knight g3, king to c7, knight f5, king to c8, and now we try to give a check on d6, trying to remove the king from here, but then king c7, and we cannot win it. We can keep giving thousands of checks to the black king, but whenever we give check, the black king just suffers between these two squares. And it is not possible for white to win in this position. And the reason here is knight cannot make waiting moves. As we could see here, this white knight stands on a white color square. It is standing on h1. And whenever we now try to move the knight, it will always move to a dark color square. This is a very key factor in knight endgame that everyone should understand and try to keep that in mind, that a knight can never control white, black at the same time. It can only control one color square, either black or white. And whenever it's standing on a white, it will control black. And whenever it stands on the dark color square or the black color square, it will always control white. Like now when I move the knight to g3, we could see it can only move to white colors, only white, no black. And we could see that here also the black king, the tricky part is that the black king is also suffering between black and white. So this makes the position critical, that when the white knight moves to black, black king also moves to black. White knight will go to white, black king will also go to white. Again, the white knight will go to black color square, give a check, but then again black king comes. And as I have told you the concept of zugzwang, exactly in this position we want black to move. If in the same position it's black who has the move, then it would be not possible for black to make a draw, because black king has to move, you would be in zugzwang. But the problem is that now it is white's turn, and white knight cannot stay on the black color square. It has to move to white, and when it moves to white, it cannot control a white color square. It will always control a that color square. This is the tricky part of a knight endgame. So in this position, exact position, if I would say that this position, it is black to move, then black would be losing. Black would be losing here in this position. To explain this to the viewers, I'll just make this position as black to play. And I'll just try to show it to all the viewers, just 1 minute. Black moves into c7. Knight goes out to g3. 5. And white goes knight e7. And the same position comes, but now it's black's turn. And black won't be able to save the game. So these are some critical parts that we should try to understand with the knight endgames, and these are the most interesting things I think about knight endgame. This is the most interesting part I think about knight endgame, that we cannot make waiting moves. So based on this theme, I have prepared a study. I think most of you have done this study. So this problem also I given to a lot of my students. So it's a very famous puzzle here. It's white to play and win. This position is actually from white side. Don't get confused. Black pawn is not promoting this side. Black pawn is actually promoting this side. So black has started from the other side and black has moved the pawn far away to h3. But white has a knight and a king that can stop the pawn. So I'd like all the viewers to pause here and think, how can white be able to win in this position? Okay, to clarify all my viewers, some of the questions were there. I think there was a question based on the last puzzle. Obviously, I'll try to clear that after we complete this. I'll go back to the question that were being asked. So obviously, I'd like to explain that, but I'd like for the time being for all the viewers to solve this puzzle, to take a little bit of thought here. It's a very interesting position actually. Okay, so here the main problem is that white has to be very careful about using his king, because as we all know, we cannot do a waiting move with the knight. So if white here hurries, as I have told, hurrying in an endgame is not a correct thing. If white hurries with king f2, it's a fatal mistake, because now king h1, black is trying to push somehow this, not now, because then it would be checkmate with knight g3. So black is trying to shuffle here. So white will go knight g3 check, king to h2, and now white main goal is to play knight f1 check, king comes here, and white wants exact position with black to move, so that king cannot go here because the knight guards the square, but black will be forced to move the pawn, and then there will be a checkmate on g3. The problem is that this exact position is now white to move, and white cannot lose a move with the knight. For that reason, white should not play king to f2 over here, but rather lose a move using his king. King can make waiting move, so he can lose the move using the king. So king f2 is the idea is right, but doing it in a hurry is wrong. So we should go king f3 first, and after king goes to h1, now we should go king to. Trick is that after king h2, we'll try to get a knight to f1, and we will plan that the black king in that position should be on h1. So knight to c3. Can't play knight g3. For all the viewers, it's a stalemate. So those who don't know what is a stalemate means there is no legal moves for the other side to move, and the other side king is not in check. So here the black king has no place to move, and the pawn also cannot move, and here the knight is guarding the blocking the thing. The best move is knight to c3. King comes to h1, knight e4, king to h2, knight goes to d2, heading for the f1 square, king to h1, and finally knight f1, and the position comes with black to move, which is very important. Zugzwang, again, this Zugzwang concept is very, very important. Everyone has to at some point apply this concept whether you're playing king on pawn game, knight endgame, rook endgame. This is a very important endgame concept that comes in every endgame. And now after h2, white go to knight to g3, and it will be a checkmate. So coming to my viewers, I think some of you have asked me a question, some tricks regarding the last position, and I think it was Srihan who asked me a question. So in this position, as we could see, that the question was, if the knight stands on a black color square, would it be winning or not? So to explain, yeah, if the knight stands on the black color square, it would be exactly the opposite. So let's try to explain. Now if the knight stands on black color square, I think white would be able to win this position, because now knight f3, king comes here, knight to d4, king goes here, 6. So basically, it's all about the colors, because of this color only this Zugzwang concept is coming. Knight is changing color every move, from black to white, white to black, and this pattern will repeat. This is how the knight moves. That is how the knight is moving. So this is a fascinating part of that game. Okay, moving on to another interesting game, which I love a lot, and one of the positions from which I've learned a lot. It's a game between Aron Nimzowitsch and Rubinstein Akiva, very famous players. And to all the kids, to all the viewers, one of the advice I can give: study chess classics. Very, very important. If you are not knowing chess history, if you're not trying to learn about who are the previous world champions, how they have played the game, or how the game evolved, then you're on the wrong path, because chess has evolved in a rapid way, to be honest. For all the players, those who are playing currently, to all the coaches, to all the kids, chess is evolving at a faster speed, because of the evolution of computers, because of the evolution in chess engines, and a lot of online platforms that are promoting chess. Chess is evolving very fast, and these classics are the building blocks of those evolution. Every chess rule, every chess fundamentals that we do, every chess analysis that we do now, it's based on these classics. So this is another classic. And here in this position, actually, white went wrong. White did not play the best move in this position. So I'd like all the viewers to take a little bit of time and find out how it would be possible for white to win here in this position. White has an extra knight, but the problem for white is that these pawns are weak and black king is very active. Black will try to capture the pawns over here. And as we all know, it's not possible to checkmate with a single knight. In an open board with no pawns, it's not possible to checkmate the black king. So here, white has to be careful for that reason, and white has to find out a nice way to win. Here, white hurried and made mistake by going knight to d3. And the reason of that, now black started exchanging the pawns, f6. And finally, black start pushing the pawn, and after king goes to d4, king f4. Next threat is e3, and the knight has to move, and this pawn will fall. So this was the trick that we should look at. So I have just given all the viewers a hint. So try to think. It's an interesting position, and white has to find out a way. As I have already made known to all my viewers, that in knight endgames, the concept of barrier or the positioning of the knight is very important. So try to think, how would you place our knights in a right place? So here, to all the viewers, just try to give some answers. I would like to get some answers. That would be real fun. If I get some answers in the chat, that would be really awesome. So, okay, knight e4 has been suggested by Rehan, Asser. There have been many others. Ravi is also okay. 94. Okay, all of the games of knight e4 being considered. Okay, Okay, over boy considered king to b4. Okay, very nice. Okay, we got a different answer. King b4. Okay, knight h3. Okay, knight h3 is a critical mistake, I would say, because it gives up the pawn on g4. So knight e4 is also somehow wrong because giving up the pawn. Okay, here we actually need the knight on d7. The reason being that it would protect the pawn, it would also stop the pawns from getting exchanged. To all the viewers, it's not only for the knight in game, it's an in general principle that whenever we are trying to defend a position, we should try to trade off pawns. We should try to exchange pawns whenever you're defending. Keep pieces, try to complicate, but trade those pawns. Pawns, if there are pawns left on the board that they can help to be getting promoted, they can help the other side to like get promoted into a queen, rook, and they can get a checkmating piece, and that would be like difficult. So here, white should have actually played king to b4. Knight d3 is wrong. So king to b4 should have been played. The reason is now after king f4, now white should get the tempo. So this is the point of not hurrying. And the knight will get that extra tempo to reach the place on d7. And if any viewer is confused, thinking that black can try to do the same thing with f6, so this is not correct because now white king would be faster. And after king g5, king should be able to come to e4, and this knight stops. And this pawn would fall, and slowly it will be winning for white. Okay, so moving on to the next position. It's a different theme. In knight endgame, deflection is a very important concept. So I'd like all the viewers to think, how could this deflection idea be used here? In this position, it's a position, as you could see, black has two extra pawns and well supported by the king. So it looks like black will be having a clear advantage and black would be winning here. But the problem is that this pawn over here is far advanced and it can be promoted in a short span of time. But the black knight on b8 is able to stop this pawn. Like it can come over here and try to stop it. Okay, to be clear, this knight has to move first of all because white has to move the knight, then only he can promote the pawn. So if the knight moves, it gives options for black to stop it like this, or the knight can also come like this to stop this way. So the critical point is how would white make sure that this knight is not able to stop the pawn. If that happens, white would be winning. If that is not going to happen, then black would be winning. Because it's a double-edged position. This kind of positions where either of the side can win are known as double-edged position. So in knight endgames, basically the positions are complex and they're double-edged. The draw is a very minimal chance. Either one of the side is going to win in knight endgame, basically. So to all the viewers, try to like pause a little bit and try to think, and I try to explain this position. Okay, let's keep the answers coming, guys, because it's been real fun interacting with you all. And this is my first experience to live stream a video or do something like of this sort. So I'd like to also apologize to all the viewers if anything has gone wrong. And if I'm not able to collect the questions or answer everyone's question, so I'd like to apologize for that. But yeah, I'll try to make sure that I try to answer each and everyone's questions. I like everyone to keep guessing and try to figure out the answer. And this is not also like a difficult position to all the kids. I would like to say it's a very easy position. So if we can try to think of it, obviously you'll be able to figure out the answer. It's easy one. It's not also too hard or too difficult. Okay, the answers are flooding with knight e7 and everyone who found out knight e7. Superb. Congrats. It's the best move and you are doing endgame beautifully. You are solving the endgame puzzles beautifully. Your endgame technique is great. Everyone, I think almost everyone has answered knight e7 in the chat. I think that's really great to see. Knight e7, knight comes out to d7. And yes, now again, the critical part. The critical part is that the knight wants to come here and stop the pawn. We have to deflect it. So how would we try to stop this now from happening? How would we stop the black knight from coming to f6? That's another critical point here. Okay, so little bit easy. I'm just giving a solution because this is an easy thing to find out. So knight comes to c6, it's a check. And the point is that after king comes to b6, trying to attack the knight, we have a beautiful move here. Again, all the viewers, let's go. The easy move to find knight e7 was obviously a little bit difficult, but now this one is very easy. It's a fancy move. And the topic, exactly this signifies the topic, deflecting sacrifice using knight. Knight can be used to deflect other knight. Okay, knight c6. Okay, let's go on, move on to the position. It's white to play and find out the, okay, 95, 95. Now the answers are flooding with 95. Yes, 95. Brilliant. Superb combination. If black takes, its pawn is unstoppable. And if black does not take and follows his idea, again, another interesting part is that white knight heads for the place on d7, attacking the king and attacking the knight. And the point is that when the knight tries to capture, deflected again, the knight is deflected. We go e5, a brilliant move to finish the game. Stops the knight from coming to the f6 place. And once this is stopped, knight has to take, and we can. So these are some key features of knight endgame that I wanted to bring. So basically, these are the basic ideas, like the concept of barrier, the rook pawn is the enemy of knight. Knight endgame should be studied like king and pawn endgame. Deflection, sacrifice. Knight cannot make waiting move. These are some all important themes of knight endgame that are also applicable to practical positions as we are running short of time. So I would like to say that I cannot touch up on all the topics, but yeah, I tried to like touch up on whatever I could, whatever topics I can. Okay, moving on to the last and the final topic of this stream or final topic of this masterclass. That is breakthrough in knight endgame. It's possible, as I have told, knight endgames are very similar to king and pawn endgame. So there are possibilities of pawn breakthrough. And the idea of pawn breakthrough is to create passed pawn. So moving on to the final puzzle or the final position over here. White to play, it's a little bit complex. It looks like easy, four pawns, king, knight, but it's highly complex position. So why I have chosen this position? Because even with the complexity this position has, the solution of this puzzle is very, very interesting. It's very, very instructive also. And these are the kind of positions I would advise every kid, those who have been learning chess for at least around 1 year or 1.5 years, should start to solve. So every kid should try to solve this kind of puzzles. This will not only help them to learn about knight endgames or some sort of position, this will also help them to improve in their calculation. Knight endgames are the best things to do to improve your chess calculation, because knight endgames are totally calculation. There is no positional theme over here. Everything is based on concrete calculations. So to all the viewers, this puzzle is a little bit complex. So as I have already mentioned that in knight endgame, rook pawn is the enemy of the knight. So giving all the viewers a hint, white will try to create a outside pass pawn here using the concept of breakthrough. So I'd like all the viewers to flood the chat with their answers so that we could move on with this final puzzle and final topic of the masterclass. So let's go. What do you think? What should white do here? Okay, a lot of answers. Alisa Rehman's B4. Then we have knight A5 coming up, knight C5 coming up. Oh, so many answers are coming up. We have Trupti saying C5, Aster saying knight captures. Okay, there are a lot of answers where everyone suggests to take on C5 and B4. Okay, so those who have found out the idea of B4 and knight C5 together, so it's amazing that both the ideas actually should be used. It's not only B4, knight C5 is also there. So yes, we start with the move knight C5. The reason is that we want to remove this pawn because then the combination won't work. Now he has to take. And now comes the brilliant move, that is B4. This is the beauty of the game. Sacrifice and then giving up a whole knight, giving up another pawn, but trying to play according to the position. And this helps white to actually create a pass pawn on the outside fight or an outside pass pawn. So here black can take with the C5 pawn, but then if it takes, this is more easy to win, connected pass pawn, more easy to promote because now knight cannot stop. The king is far away from this pawn. So B3, king captures, and white king is supporting the pawns, and this will be much faster. White pawns will promote much faster than the black pawn. So the other move, the other critical move is this. Takes. If takes, now we have got two pass pawns, one on A4, one on D6. Push. Black tries to push. White will try to push. It's pretty obvious that now it's a race between two pawns. This and this. So black knight will somehow try to stop, but can't stop as it's outside pass pawn. So just to show all the viewers that if the knight tries to stop this pawn, like suppose after A6, knight tries to stop it, it's not possible. Because then, what's the move? All the viewers can try to guess the move. We have already discussed this puzzle in the last, this idea in the last puzzle. So what's the theme? It's deflection. I hope everyone will be able to find out the deflection idea over here. Okay, I'll just wait for all the viewers to think of it and find out the winning move here for white. White to play and win. The answers, okay, very good. The answers are getting flooded. And everyone, I think everyone is answering. I think we have Julie answering D7, Bhavna answering D7. Everyone is answering D7. Yeah, super. Deflection move, D7. Knight is deflected. This is promoting. And when the knight tries to capture this, it's been promoted to a two. So pretty obvious that this does not work. So black also starts the race with his pawn. And we could see both. White now promotes to a queen. And now black will also push, and there's no way for the white queen to stop this pawn. Such a fascinating position. We could see now white promotes first, white gets a queen, but now it's impossible for white to stop the other side from getting promoted. So this is the interesting part of the puzzle. But since white has a very strong pawn on d6, this gives white the advantage. And to all the viewers, whenever you are promoting first or you're promoting with a check, you have the advantage. This is the advantage in pawn-less puzzle. So white uses that theme, pins the knight on f6, at least gets that knight. Black promotes, check, and this queen endgame is winning for white because this pass pawns can be easily stopped by the white king, but this pawn will get promoted because black king is far away from the pawn. To show the viewers an example, I'm not trying to go into in-depth analysis of this position. It will take a lot of time. Topic is also not queen endgames, but just I'll try to show the viewers how this works. King to g3 gives a check, and now white tries to simplify into a king and pawn endgame, which is a very good example that whenever we are winning, we should try to simplify the position. So queen comes here, d7, tries to promote, queen a4 check, king comes out, king to c1, and pretty obvious that black is trying to give checks to the king, making sure it's uncomfortable for white. But now the king escapes, and once the king escapes, now this pawn is unstoppable. But black here still finds out a very nasty trick. So what black do? Black goes for a very fine move, that is king to g4. So the idea is that now if white promotes, it's a big mistake. Principle of do not hurry. If you hurry, you'll let the win slip away. Now black can do a perpetual check, like queen f3, king e1, and this check will get repeated. This pattern is going to get repeated and we cannot escape. That is the reason, instead of promoting, we should first stop that perpetual check and go queen to d. Now, because now after capture, king e3 comes to check, which is a trick, counter check. They gave us a check, we moved the king and gave a discovered check, and next turn, promoting to a. So to all the viewers, I hope you love this masterclass. So this is what I had for you all in today's masterclass. Thanks everyone for joining and making it really special. I got a lot of answers, lot of love. Thanks everyone for this, because like it was really motivating. I never expected that that everyone would love this masterclass so much. So this is my first time. I'll try to improvise in the next time. Whenever I get a chance, I'll try to make it more interesting and like more professional. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Apologies again if any mistake from my end, and thanks everyone for joining. And also, I'd like to thank Primach's Academy for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge or share all the things that I had with the kids and the viewers. Thank you and goodbye. See you next time soon. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a nice day ahead.